What's up, guys and gals? Floyd here, and a couple questions. Do you want decent DPS for all content? Do you want survivability, sustain? Do you not want to have to bar swap 13 times to get off 3 abilities to pull off that?
That's you. That's what you sound like.
Today, I wanted to talk about the Perma Derp Mag Sorc. Now, you can be a High Elf or a Dark Elf. I'm a Dark Elf on this build, so I'm using flame damage. So you can go over and use lightning with the High Elf and stuff like that. I'll tell you how. With the pot, character sheet's looking a little something like this. 41.5k mag, 17.1k health, almost 11k stam. Now you're at 2764 spell damage. That will go up with some of the sets that we're using. And your crit is at 58.9%, which is good. And then 13k spell resist and 11k physical resist. I've got 64 points into Magicka. I'm using blue food, which is just max health, max magic. No, nothing special. Using a Lover Stone. And I'm supposed to... I am not a vampire on this character. You can be a vampire. It'll help you out with the sustain, although the sustain's not bad. But I am not a vampire on this character, apparently. So, vampire, if you want to. Now, the sets are a little... they're kind of meta. But there are a few that you can switch out, so don't worry if you don't have access to some of these sets. I will give you some alternatives. Now, of course, the first is Mother Sorrow. Now, here on the Dark Elf, I have a Flame Glyph infused. Sharpened will work just as well on this. So if you have a Sharpened, it's just fine. In fact, Sharpened will test a little bit higher. Because all I use is Ellie Drain, so the more pen you get, the more DPS you're going to get. Now, I know people are going to freak out. Everybody's saying, oh, I don't have a Maelstrom Inferno staff, or, some people are saying that. You don't need to have a Maelstrom Inferno staff on this build. You can just run 2 Mother Sorrow Inferno staffs, and you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine with two Mother Sorrow, and not the Maelstrom. The Maelstrom, when I was testing, did pull a bit higher, just simply because you're of the spammable of the skills. We'll get to that. But like I said, 2 Mother Sorrow Inferno stabs, you're fine. And on the back bar, the best thing for this build is the deals magic damage and restores magic with an infused enchant. You want the infused on the back bar. Now, Zaan's is going to be our monster set. Now, if you don't have Zaan's, again, don't freak out. It's fine. I know that some people don't have access to Zaan's, and it's okay. Groftar or Alhambris are both very good sets. Or the Bucket. Wear the Bucket. I'm just kidding. Don't wear the Bucket. It's terrible. But Groftar, Alhambris, Zaan's is always going to be your highest DPS single target. So that's why we're using Zaan's. If you don't have it, like I said, there's a few alternatives. Main body set is going to be Sororia. Now, Sororia is meh to me. Some people like it. Some people want it. It is what it is, but it keeps you locked in one place for the most part. In mobile battles, it's really not good. I don't really enjoy it, so most of the time, I like to run Scathing Mage. Now, Scathing Mage is a really good set, and it hits harder than Sororia does. Because of the initial, you have to build the stacks here, and if you lose these stacks, then your DPS is obviously going to go down. Now, Scathing Mage, when you deal critical damage, you have a 20% chance to increase your spell damage by just about 500 for 6 seconds, and it can occur every 6 seconds. Now, with this build, with running Mother Sorrow, it's all crit. So, I like Scathing Mage. Sororia is, it's going to pull higher on a test dummy, or it's going to pull higher in a stationary. situation where you can actually stand inside of the buff. If you don't have Sororia or you don't like to use it like I do, Scathing Mage. Now I know that's a poop trait. That's a poop trait on this piece. Yes, I know. But Scathing Mage, great. And and then of course the jewelry is just gonna be Mother Sorrow. Now on the traits, 2 infused spell damage glyphs, and then 1 spell damage and maximum magicka. Now, if you want to try to pull every little bit of DPS that you can out of this build, then it's perfectly fine for you to put a Bloodthirsty trait on the neck. I just like to have the maximum magicka. The build hits plenty hard without the Bloodthirsty. Not a big deal. Execute does not last that long. You're doing plenty of damage with it. I just think that the Arcane's better to help with the sustain for people that are not the greatest at it. Because let's face it, sometimes people aren't great at sustain. It helps you. So I like to use the Arcane on that. Now, traits on the gear: infuse all your big pieces. Infuse your head, infuse chest, and infuse legs. This is going to help with your maximum resource pool, sustain, damage, everything. Use 3 infused pieces. And then the rest is obviously going to be divines on the small pieces. But that's basically your gear setup. That's how I run it. Like I said, few alternatives here and there. I really like to run Scathing Mage instead of Sororia. It's up to you. Scathing Mage drops out of Imperial City Prison, if you don't know. So you can go in there, and then plus, like I said, it's body pieces. Just run it on normal and improve it. The skills are really, really simple and pretty basic. Your front bar is going to be your Mage's Wrath. Your Mage's Wrath comes out of the Storm Calling right here. It's your Execute, 20%. Use this instead of your spammable. There you go. Now, there's 2 choices for the spammable. This is your main spammable. Elemental Weapon, which comes out of the Sigic line. So if you have it, boom, there it is right there. Now this is a great ability. It hits super hard, and it gives you the burning, concussed, or chilled stats effect. So there you go. I mean, it's a great spammable. Now, if some people don't like it because they can't weave it well, so they're saying, like, you know, people are missing light attacks, I don't like it, blah blah. If you don't like the skill, then that's fine. Don't use it. Crushing Shock right here is gonna be just as effective. The DPS will go down a little bit, and this costs a little bit more since we have a lot of spammables and our rotation is mainly the spammable. Then the sustain's going to go down a little bit, you know, blah blah blah. So just be aware of that when it comes to using Crushing Shock. But it's definitely, you can definitely switch it out. There's no reason that you can't use Crushing Shock. It's just as good. And then in some situations you want to, because it's the interrupt. It's the range interrupt. So in some situations it's viable to use, and I feel that it's super easy to weave with Crushing Shock. I don't ever miss any light attacks with it. So if you want to use that, then by all means use Crushing Shock. No big deal. The third skill is going to be your Crystal Fragment. Now, this, and I can't stress this enough, please do not hardcast this. Once in a while you'll hardcast it, I understand. But do not sit there at a boss and just goof around and be like, oh, DPS, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Don't do that, alright? Only cast it if it procs, please. Alright, let me see if I can get it to proc here. There you go. When your hands turn purple, throw the rock, boom. Hits harder, costs less magic, helps earn your sustain. Do not hardcast the skill over and over again. It's super expensive, it takes forever, you're not going to do a lot of damage with it. Please, wait for it to proc. Then on the front bar, we're going to put Bound Aegis. This is going to give you max magic. It's going to give you a little physical and spell resist, make you a little bit more tanky. Also, if you get into trouble, you can always cast it and block. Then when you have your Psijic skill line, you get a shield, you get block mitigation. It's really helpful to have on the front bar. And you can block cast it. You don't even have to drop block. Boom. There you go. But that will reduce the incoming damage that you take for 3 seconds. Plus you'll get the shield, like I said. So Bound Aegis on the front bar and Inner Light as well. More max magic, the better. So you're going to go ahead and bar that. Now, we don't have a Destruction Staff ability on the front bar, so to get those passives, we're going to put the ultimate on the front bar. Now, if you switch out Elemental Weapon for Crushing Shock, then you're going to want to put Meteor here. But if you decide to use Elemental Weapon, leave the Destro ult here, okay? Now, this makes it even better because you're sitting here and you're doing your spammables and you're throwing your purple rock and you're doing all your cool stuff and you're executing and killing the bad guys. When your ultimate comes up, the Destro ultimate is your main ultimate. So when it's on the front bar, it's super easy for people to see. So when it's up, you drop the ultimate and then you just go right back to doing whatever it is you're doing, throwing the rocks, doing the things, doing the stuff, doing the things, boom, 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 boom. So, like, it's really, really simple to have the Destro ult on the front bar. Okay? So leave it there. That's why we have the Psijic skill up here for your spammable, for your little bubble and stuff like that, and then you get the spell orbs passive and everything. It'll add to your DPS. Your back bar is going to be pretty basic. You're going to have your Blockade of Fire. Make sure that this is down all the time. Boom. Glowy, glowy fire. Okay. Your next skill is going to be Dark Exchange. Now, this is your heal, a big boost to your magic instantly, and it's going to bring up your recovery. So, in the rotation, when you're on the back bar, every other bar swap, you're going to go Blockade, you're going to Dark Exchange, into the third skill, which is obviously Liquid Lightning. So you're going to Liquid. But that's basically the rotation on the back bar. Now, Inner Light is also on there, and your Ward. You want your Ward on there. And then Ice Comet or Meteor, whichever one you want to go ahead and do. It doesn't matter. Don't use this. This is not your main ultimate. You want to drop the Destro ultimate. That's what you want to do. You want to drop the Destro. Now, if you need to hit something hard in Execute, or there's a bunch of mobs and you don't have a Destro, then by all means, drop the Meteor or the Ice Comet, whichever. But we're just using it for the Mages Guild passives on the back part. So that's pretty much it. Just your Ward, Inner Light, Liquid Lightning, Dark Exchange, and your Blockade of Fire for your skills. Okay? Now, the champion points, super easy. Like the red and the green trees, just basic stuff. You know, just basic stuff. You can go ahead and pause it and check out these. But the blue tree, now one thing that I did mess up on is I have one extra point here in Staff Expert. You can put 20 into Spell Erosion. Be fine. So 19 or 20, whichever, into Spell Erosion. You're going to do 75 Elemental Expert. You're going to do 56 Elfborn. Then 10 or 9, because there's just that one point that doesn't really fit anywhere. In the Staff Expert, 66 in the Master at Arms, and you're going to go 44 into Thaumaturge. Okay? Like I said, red and green trees, that's up to you. Depending on the content you're running, do that. But your blue trees are as such. Now, the rotation is what I'm going to do next. Now, the rotation is stupid simple. It's very, very easy, and it's very hard to mess up. But it hits like a truck. It hits like a truck, man. Like, the build is great. So, what you're going to do when you start a fight is you're going to pop a potion. And then you're going to hit Dark Exchange to get that extra mag recovery going. And then when you walk in, if you have a Destro, you would drop your Destro. But you're just going to blockade, light. You're going to liquid lightning, light, bar swap. And then you're going to do 6 spammables, and you're going to throw the purple rock when it procs. When it procs, you just count it as 1 of your spammables. You're going to do 6 spammables. Then when you bar swap, you're just going to do blockade, light, liquid, light, bar swap, 6 spammables. Now, like I said, every time Crystal Frag procs, throw it. And count that as one of your spammables. So 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. If it procs, don't worry, bar swap, blockade. Then every other time you're on your back bar, you're gonna re-hit the Dark Exchange, liquid, swap. And that's all the rotation is. That's all it is right there. So when it's quick, it's gonna look like this. You're gonna boom, 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 then you're gonna boom. That's it. Bar swap back, redo your blockade and liquid lightning. But like I said, every other time, throw in the Dark Exchange, boom, you get a big thing of magic. Costs a little bit of stamina. But that's it. That's all the rotation is right there. It's super, super simple. It's very hard to get messed up. Like I said, if you get knocked on your butt in the middle of a fight and you're doing your spammables and you get knocked over and I fell, come back in and just restart. Just restart and give it some of that, and then just get back. Boom. Just go right back to 6 spammables. That's it. That's all you do. Just 6 spammables. That's it. You're just beating it up. That's it. So it's very, very, very simple, and it hits like a truck. Oh, I'm going to put the parse in at the end of the video so you can check out the parse. Now, the parse is not with all the goodies and stuff like that, so don't... I think the parse that I have up is like 39k DPS. I mean, the build is capable of hitting over 39k. I just didn't have a parse of it. I'm sorry. But it's capable of hitting over that, but it's very, very simple to do. Very, very simple. And 40k DPS, 39k DPS will get you into any vet content. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You don't have to hit 50, 60k to do content in this game. Now, if you want to do more damage, then by all means, with less sustain, instead of Dark Exchange, put Haunting Curse on. Your sustain's gonna go way down, and you're gonna have to heavy attack, but you'll do a little bit more damage. But with this build, with nothing but blockade, exchange, liquid, and spammables, 40k DPS is more than adequate. Now, like I said, with all the bells and the whistles and stuff, the DPS will go way, way up. You'll probably be hitting around 45, 47k, somewhere in that range with all the bells and the whistles. But the parse that I'm going to show you is with nothing but my own LE drain applied by myself in the rotation. So it's going to show that it's super easy to do the rotation, and it's super easy to maintain, to sustain, and time-wise, like, you don't have to rush through it. You're not trying to do everything that you can super, super, super fast. It's just a basic rotation, and it hits like a truck. So, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope that it helps you out. If you have any questions or you want to yell at me and tell me that I suck because I don't have a 50k parse on a simple mag Sorc, then by all means, tell me in the comment section below. If not, I hope that you guys can get the gear. I hope you have fun with the build. I hope that it helps you out, and I hope when you go beat up your own dummy that you're fairly impressed with how easy it is and how effective the build can be as well. So that's FLOYD, signing off. Have a good one.